Alright, in today's video we are going to go over decimal grids again, but in this video we're going to go over a certain way that they do problems, and we can I'll show you basically how to figure out decimal grid problems. So one way that they do it is they will shade a certain portion of the decimal grid. So right here, imagine this is filled in perfectly, okay? And then it'll say, what is the decimal that this would represent? Okay, and as we know, since this is a whole, this whole square is a whole, if it's split into 10 columns, that means that there are, right here, 4 of them filled out. So that would be 4/10, which would be 0.4. You could also write it as 4/10 in a fraction form. Okay, so this is 4/10. Now, another thing that they might do is, ignore that part. Let's just erase that. They might do something like this. Okay, now imagine these are filled in perfectly. I'm not perfect with the mouse, but they would say, what decimal does this represent? And so now we know that each of these squares is 1, right? So it would be 1, 2, and then this one's not filled out all the way. And so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 filled out. So this would be 2 and 6/10. Sorry for the so it would be 2.6 or 2 and 6/10. You could also write it as a mixed number, 2 and 6/10. You could convert this into an improper fraction. You could do all sorts of things. But just know that when they fill out, a whole one, that is equal to 1. And then this is the partial. Now, we could go through, and now we can, let's just erase these quickly. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be good enough. Alright, and why don't we go through and do it on the hundreds as well? So this is going to be a little harder here, but okay. Now it'll say how many of these are shaded, right? Or what is the decimal that this represents. So we can count the amount of columns that are fully shaded. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that 40 hundredths are shaded. And then we can count the squares individually of the one that's not shaded fully. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means that what is shaded is 46 hundredths, right? So this is these 4 columns each of them are worth a tenth or 10 hundredths, right? And then each of these ones, the 6, is worth 6 hundredths. So it would be 46 hundredths. And once again, that, that still applies with if you fill out, a whole one. Now, if they said, what do these two represent together? It would be 1 and 46 hundredths. All right. So, hopefully that goes over briefly how these decimal grids are used, and we'll go into in future videos a little bit more and what kind of problems that you might run into using these.